Welcome, everybody. Good evening to our friends on the East Coast. Good afternoon to our friends on the West Coast, and good in-between time to the friends in the in-between spaces, which we all find ourselves more and more these days. Welcome to the first night of our coming out story sharing event. We're doing it tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we focus just on story sharing, videos of members of our community, both local and greater, sharing some really wonderful, powerful, beautiful stories. Tonight we are thrilled to welcome Samantha Allen, the wonderful author, to our stage for the first half of the show. Then we'll talk to the Girl Scout who's organizing the LGBTQI Youth Social on Sunday. And then finally, we're going to share a couple of stories at the tail end of the show from community members, just to give you a taste of the wonderful experience we're going to have tomorrow night in that story sharing. And I'm going to do the usual introduction to the show at the end of the show. For those that you watch regularly, I'll give you our coming up events at the end, because it is Samantha Allen's publication day, and we're thrilled and honored that she chose to be with us. And Samantha has a hard out at 7:30, so we want to spend as much time as possible. But before we do that, I did want to share some news. All of us here at Byron Center for Social Justice headquarters are shocked and saddened at the news of the passing of transgender icon and trailblazing advocate Monica Roberts. Among many accomplishments, she was the founding editor of the phenomenal Trans Griot, which was a blog focusing on issues pertaining to trans women, particularly of color. She was a proud, unapologetic Black trans woman speaking truth to power at a very necessary time and discussing the world around her in very, very strong terms. She will be missed greatly, and we send our strength and solace to her friends, her family, and her allies. We want to now welcome to our virtual stage someone who's been with us before, and really, really honored to have her back, especially on the day that she is publishing a new piece. Samantha Allen is the author of Real Queer America, LGBT Stories from Red States, a travelogue that the Los Angeles Times dubbed, quote, a book necessary for anyone in or allied with the queer community, end quote, which is, of course, available on our bookshop.org book list, which Chris, our wonderful volunteer, will put up in the comment section for you. And just published this very day and available on Audible as I share this with you. M to WTF, a humorous retelling of her gender transition in audio form. We are honored to welcome Samantha back to the Power Hour on her big publication day. Samantha, thank you so much for being with us. We're so thrilled to have you with us this evening and to share this time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me back, and thank you for your words about Monica. I just want to echo that I'm heartbroken. I had the opportunity to interview her several times over the course of my career in journalism about her work honoring, transgender women of color who were victims of violence, who weren't being done justice by local media outlets. And she was just absolutely tireless in her work, so passionate about LGBTQ advocacy nationwide, but also especially in Texas. And that's part of why I really gravitated towards her. Last time we were on the show, we talked about Real Queer America and about, advocacy around LGBTQ issues in more conservative parts of the US. And Monica was really passionate about, Texas was her home and she wanted to stay in Texas and make it better. And heartbroken that she didn't get to see the election outcome, but just heartbroken in general, really. But yeah, thank you for your words about her.
She was an incredibly important member of our community, and our very mission here is to make sure that we amplify and raise up all the voices. And she was one of the people that inspired me personally in the work, and definitely informs the work we do here at the center.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, she inspired so many young transgender people as well because she was a possibility model. And I think that ties into, the theme of your 2-day power hour of coming out, that sometimes so much of what you need to come out is to be able to see a possibility model, see an elder in the community who has come out and lived a full life, and that unlocks possibilities for you.
And I
And
think
Monica was that for so many people.
Yeah, and I think that Monica would be really appreciative that it allows us now to have this conversation, that she has created the platform. And we will always remember that. And I'm so glad that you're here with us, to be honest, because I know that you had a personal connection. So I'm glad that we can share this time.
Yeah, thank you.
So moving forward, because there's so much that we do want to share as well. When you were here last time, and I so enjoyed our conversation, we talked about Real Queer America, and just to give people, a real quick synopsis of that, tell us what this book is. So, because it is really a wonderful mixture of memoir and travelogue, and it really is, again, and especially, going back to talking about Monica, it gives us a real feeling of what we can do in that in between spaces I was talking about at the top of the show, those middle states where a lot of the queer community find themselves lost, both literally and figuratively. And this book is really helpful in that.
Yeah, almost half of LGBTQ people in the country live in states that are rated poorly for LGBTQ equality at the legislative level. So there's so much of our community lives in these places that we often, people will sometimes derogatively refer to as flyover states or something like that. Doesn't do justice to the amazing, queer, vibrant communities that have sprouted up all over America, not just on the coast, but in between too. So Real Queer America is a travelogue. In 2017, I took a road trip across the country, meeting and interviewing LGBTQ advocates along the way. Started in Utah, went to Texas, Indiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia. I wanted to go to all these places that were stereotyped as being awful for LGBT people and show the amazing work that was being done in them.
And you did a really fabulous job, and I thank you. It really is it's a powerful book. It's a necessary book. It is truly amazing how many calls we get at the center of people saying, "Oh, I'm going to Ohio. Do you know of a place that I can go to that I'll feel safe, that I can get a drink, or I can go dancing, or I can just feel like I'm part of the community." And most of the time we end up, doing whatever research we can and getting back to that person and trying to find that, that one or two spaces, or maybe there's more. And this book is really a great outlet for that.
Yeah, it could be a fun road trip, road map for somebody when travel's a bit easier for folks to do.
So that's Real Queer America, and I suggest strongly, as Chris, our volunteer, and thank you, Chris, for all the work you do. Put a link right there in the comments section, and here it is as a Chiron. We have a bookshop.org, and we love bookshop.org because they give back to independent bookstores. So when you go there, they'll ask you where you live, and they'll give back to an independent bookstore in your area, which is wonderful. But even more exciting, and I can't tell you how much it means to us as an entity and to me personally that you would come on the day of your publication. It's a big day, and I'm sure you're very sought after, and you have another gig after this, and that's wonderful. You should have 27 gigs today, and I wish you the most success. And this is a different kind of book because you're talking, it's a little funnier, and it's also spoken. It's an audible book. So tell us about M2WTF, please.
Well, first of all, you drastically overestimate my level of prestige, but M to WTF, it is also, it's a memoir. So Real Queer America was kind of a hybrid memoir travelogue. And I wasn't trying necessarily to be funny in Real Queer America, but part of what I found from readers, especially listeners to that book, was they felt people who would listen to the book would approach me at book signings and say like, oh, I listened to it, or I listened to it on a road trip and I felt like I knew you by the end of it. And like, also you were really like dry and funny in parts and it made me laugh. And, it got me thinking about like what I'd like to explore in like writing trans queer memoir. And I decided I would love to do this like audio project that leaned more into humor. So for me, it's about growing up Mormon, undergoing open heart surgery, coming out as transgender in my mid-20s. It's all of those experiences, a lot of painful experiences, to be honest, but told through a humorous lens. And yeah, it was fun to write something exclusively for audio because you can be conversational and quippy and casual. And yeah, I loved it.
I think it really suits you. I think that Real Queer America is a wonderful book and important for what it gives us access to that we really hadn't had in one substantial, solid form. But this, I think, is where you really shine. I think it takes all those really fun moments of Real Queer America and puts them into another format that I think I think you found. Forgive me for saying it, so it's because it's so on the nose, but you found your voice.
Thank you. Yeah, it was so much fun to do. I had to record it in the middle of the pandemic. Pandemic's still going on, of course, but so Audible had to send me this like spy suitcase full of recording equipment, and I had to build this like makeshift soundproof corner of my apartment. It was an interesting contraption, but it appeared to get the job done. And of course, the 2 days I recorded it in my apartment, there were airplanes flying overhead every 5 minutes, both days. But I promise in the finished recording, you don't hear me swearing at the airplanes or any of that. They edited all of it out.
I have to tell you, can I just say, I am so jealous when I hear of like the Emmys and all these different folks that get these secret packages of like a ring light and a microphone. I want to get one of those. I want someone to send me one of those special packages. My mom bought me a ring light about halfway through doing the power hour a couple of months back, and that was wonderful. And it's been, I said, I want to have that ring in my eye that everyone has when they do these things. So I'm thrilled at having that. And I'm thrilled that they treated you with such respect and kindness, because these stories sometimes don't get to be told, right?
Yeah. And told in a way where I wanted to kind of take the like traditional beats of like a trans memoir, because I've written these kinds of books myself where it's like I was born and I always felt different, and then, this happened, and then I found myself and everything's all very heartwarming and serious. I wanted to show like the funny side of it because transitioning can be a really funny experience. It puts you in a lot of really interesting situations and predicaments. So I wanted like permission and space to do this like unconventional, irreverent spin on this kind of genre that's emerged over the last 20, 30 years of trans memoir.
So that's really wonderful. And I was wondering, would you be amenable to reading just a snippet so we can get a flavor of it, so folks will want to do what they should do and go buy this book?
Sure. I'll read a very short snippet from my chapter about coming out. So I came out as a transgender woman in my mid-20s when I was in a PhD program at Emory University. And this is about the coming out party that I held to celebrate my coming out. It's part of what I was doing in this audiobook was I was taking things I was embarrassed of in my own life or my transition and trying to make fun of myself a little bit as a way of like processing and reliving these things. I had the world's saddest coming out party. I held it on National Coming Out Day, October 11th, 2012. A bit on the nose, don't you think? By that time, I had been on hormones for a little while, and I had been slowly telling the important people in my life that I was transgender. But I thought it was too precious to formally come out on National Coming Out Day. So when I invited my grad school friends to the party, I told them that we would instead be celebrating General Pulaski Memorial Day, also observed every October 11th. I figured that Casimir Pulaski deserved a spotlight. He was a Polish Revolutionary War hero who famously saved George Washington's life, but he is now sadly the namesake of an atrocious bridge in New Jersey called the Pulaski Skyway, currently undergoing a $1 billion renovation. That's how terribly it was designed in the first place. Casimir Pulaski also got a shout out in the title of a devastatingly beautiful Sufjan Stevens song about losing a loved one to bone cancer. Pulaski just can't catch a break. Imagine spending your life fighting for freedom and getting mortally wounded by cannon fire during a cavalry charge, only to watch from heaven as your name gets attached to a bridge in New Jersey that traverses a wastewater treatment plant, and the most depressing song ever written. On top of that, imagine a wise-ass transgender girl uses the one day meant to honor you as a way to ironically distance herself from the earnestness of coming out of the closet. I'm sorry, Casimir. You deserved better than this. The night of the party, I got my wig styled, I got my makeup done professionally, and I slipped on a beautiful off-white lace dress, all for an event that took place in my dingy, sparsely furnished, and poorly lit basement apartment. I looked like a debutante who had been dropped off at the wrong address. The only decorations I had were empty hormone bottles arranged in a neat row on the mantle. I cringed thinking about that now. The menu consisted of 3 delivery pizzas, 1 cheese, 1 pepperoni, and because of all of my friends were graduate students, 1 vegan pizza, whatever that is. To drink, my guests had their choice of Blue Moon, or Blue Moon. As they arrived, they would notice the disparity between how they were dressed comfortably and how I was dressed, like I was getting married for the second time, and they would stammer, "You look nice." However strained, I was in no position to turn down compliments. "Thanks," I said. To a fault, though, my friends were sweet. They wrote me notes, others hugged me and said that they were proud of me. But with the benefit of hindsight, of course, all I can think about now is how awful the aesthetics of the evening were. These days, you can find videos online of supportive parents throwing elaborate gender reveal parties for their transgender children, complete with color-coded cakes, decor, and balloons. I am glad there's no video of my own coming out party, just a single low-resolution photo, because no one needs to see me dressed to the nines, huddling with a group of humanities nerds around my sad beige couch, holding a drooping slice of pizza.
Wonderful. I do want to, before I talk to you about how wonderful that was, I do want to give you an opportunity to apologize to all the vegans in the audience.
I have since been introduced to actually genuinely tasty vegan pizza.
See, I gave you a chance to let me a culpa. Did you see what I did there?
You've saved me angry emails.
So that I think that that's a perfect encapsulation of your work and your voice. Pulaski is the Skyway. I love that. I love that you drew that in. And how do you do that? How, as an author, do you find, okay, I want to talk about my coming out party, and I want to draw this historical figure into it, and then weave it in so effortlessly and so humorously, and you know, it allows. I think what allows, and I'm sorry that I'm being so circular in this question, but it allows folks a vantage point, allows folks a coming in point, because they can say, "Oh, I know that bridge," or "I know that historical figure," and then they're drawn into your story.
So many people who were test readers for this were like, "Yeah, the Pulaski Skyway was terrible. I'm stuck in traffic there all the time." But yeah, no. I forget who told me this, some older, wiser author, but the advice was essentially, look for the comedy first and the emotion will follow. You know, if you find something relatable that makes someone smile or chuckle or laugh, it works as this kind of little lure where it draws the reader in, and then you can get to a little more emotional or vulnerable place, and it hits so palpably after you've already kind of invited the reader into this like warm, funny, happy place to then be like, and here's how I felt at the time too. And it's this nice kind of like, you know, salty sweet kind of combo of you know, let's laugh together and then let's like consider what this meant.
And I think that it's so important, especially when you are telling this story, which is a story that folks are not going to have personal experience with. So you have to find that connective tissue. So when you talk about, you know, wanting that emotional piece to come after something that's comedic, so you welcome them in and you make them feel almost safe, right? But then you have a secondary challenge as a transgender author to make sure that your story, which needs to be heard and needs to be felt, but also people are going to be somewhat reluctant. There's still a reluctance to hear these stories, to know these stories. So that's why I think it works on two levels for you, right?
Yeah, it's something that I've struggled with or not struggled with, but grappled with in my career as a writer for the last, you know, 8 years, right? For people who aren't transgender, there's always going to be something like fundamentally untranslatable about transgender experience. You know, like how do I explain something like gender dysphoria to someone who's never felt that about their own body or their own life? And and that to me has been the like imaginative gap that I feel like I keep trying to cross in trans memoir. And I feel like humor might be part of the right way to do that. Is, you know, it kind of invites the reader to be on the same level as you, and then you can try to slip in like, hey, maybe you can understand a little bit how, you know, this felt for me. Here's a silly metaphor comparing it to something you might have experienced in your own life, even if you're not transgender. And it builds bridges without people even realizing the bridges are being built. It's sort of like a Trojan horse of relatability a bit.
Yeah, and I think that there's also this real recognition of this moment where finally it seems like all our disparate communities, all our diverse communities are finally realizing that whereas our struggles are not the same, but they are similar. And, you know, we see that, you know, we were struggling with the pandemic, and then we had to face the epidemic of systemic racism. And what was really meaningful for so many of us was seeing how the Black Lives Matter movement really embraced, for the first time on a larger platform, on a larger level, the Black Trans Lives Matter movement as well, and almost took it in, you know. And we had, you know, the rally that was in Brooklyn in August, you know, had tens of thousands of folks, and that was such a meaningful moment. So do you feel like we really have an opportunity here that we haven't had before?
As a creative, I'm excited for what that opens up for storytelling. You know, as a transgender person, I'm of course like thrilled at the civil and human rights potential of this moment in my profession. I'm excited that we're finally hitting this inflection point, especially among younger generations, where being LGBTQ, being trans is so celebrated and being honored is such a rich textured experience that we can start to move past just pleading to be seen, pleading to be visible, and inviting people in to like experience the texture of all of our idiosyncratic lives, you know, because there's a bit of like respectability that you sometimes have to play as an author or writer, where you're like, I'm going to package up my story really neat for you because I just want you to see it. And I don't want you to be too afraid of me. I know I'm still this shadowy other. Right. And when you cross that inflection point, you can start to say something different. You can say, I can let my story be messy. I can let it be funny and weird and awkward. I don't have to tie it up into a perfect little bow for you. And you can still appreciate me the way I've been appreciating, messy straight people's lives in every piece of fiction I've ever consumed.
And that's what I love. That's the other part of that I love right now, is there are so many voices being heard. So nobody is being held up as the representative of one community, because nobody can ever do that. There are so many folks who have an important voice, but they are not the sole voice, and they are not the sole representative of that community. So it's wonderful to have people like you, to have people like Raquel Willis, to have people like Tre'vell Anderson, to have people like Monica Roberts, and all these folks who can give a different aspect of the community and allow us to say, oh, this is not one block. These are a bunch of individual, loving, feeling, visible people.
Yeah, I mean, like, let 1,000 flowers bloom, right? Like, I love that we're hitting this moment where it's not like, oh, there's the trans writer, there's the person who writes that, because it takes some of the pressure off of you to feel like you have to represent, like, so many people in your own work, like, because you're less kind of being seen as like, oh, you're the person. I'm not saying I was the trans writer before, right? Like Kate Bornstein, for instance, would be like someone who for a time was seen in the world of publishing as like, oh, that's the trans writer, and now we, as you said, with all these names, we just rattled off all fabulous writers, all sharing their own experiences. And it means it takes some of the pressure off of us, that we feel like we don't have to feel awkward just talking about our lives and feeling like someone's going to say, oh, well, that doesn't match up with my experience, or that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, there's so many people we can read now, so many voices out there, and that's so amazing to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we talk about a spectrum, and, it used to be the spectrum was like, okay, here's the spectrum, and here's gay, bisexual, lesbian, transgender, questioning, asexual, and so on and so forth. And now what's wonderful is that spectrum's now opened up, and each one of those categories are now having all of their categories, and realizing now that those aren't categories at all, that those are people.
Yeah, it's like we're taking a magnifying glass to the whole LGBTQIA community and finally seeing this like color and detail. Or, it's like to use a silly metaphor, it's like the mantis shrimp. Have you heard of the mantis shrimp? It's this underwater creature that can see like, hundreds more colors than the human eye can see. It's like we're finally seeing the queer community through the mantis shrimp's eyes.
I love that. I'm colorblind, so I'm kind of even lesser on that. But I appreciate it. I will look for, maybe there's a way to cure colorblindness with the mantis shrimp. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, extract some little mantis shrimp blood with a little tiny syringe and but inject it into yourself
with no harm to the shrimp. Please.
Yes.
So I want to thank you so much for being here on your publication day and sharing a bit of your story, and of course you will come back. I know you have to ask. I know you'll come back.
I will.
You are a member of our community, and this is the book that we have on our bookshop.org, Real Queer America. It's a great travelogue. It's funny, it's sweet, and it's really important. And I think that it really does have a place on your bookshelf, and it can help you navigate both literally and figuratively as you move yourself across the map. And then the book that came out today, do we call it a book, an audible book?
Audible original? I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Good, I'm glad. So I'm not just a nincompoop. So, but it's an oral 26 of the funniest moments from your transgender journey. Samantha Allen, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Really appreciate it. I encourage everybody to get the Audible book that came out just today, and we're honored you shared this time with us. And we hope to have you back, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Be well, my friend.
Be well.
So that was Samantha Allen, everybody. Please go and our bookshop.org Power Hour book list has all the authors that we've had on the show before, and including, of course, Samantha's book, Real Queer America, LGBT Stories from Red States. And there's the link. And thank you, as always, Chris, for having that. And then the book that came out today, just this very day, Samantha shared her time with us on her publication day, M2WTF, 26 The Funniest Moments from My Transgender Journey. It's available on Audible, and there's the link right there. So please support the authors and the wonderful folks that come out to our community. And speaking of wonderful folks that come out to our community, I really feel like tonight is a great microcosm of what the Power Hour is and what our community is, because we have this really great author, Samantha Allen, with us, who talks about her book that comes out this very day. And now I get to introduce to you someone who inspires me so much in the work that I do, and also named Samantha, by the way, serendipitously. Samantha is a queer high schooler and Girl Scout working on her Girl Scout Silver Award. She has been a Girl Scout for 10 years and is the organizer of the upcoming LGBTQ Youth Social Coming Out Day celebration on Sunday, which is a social event for queer youth and allies of all identities, orientations, and backgrounds. There will be playing of LGBTQIA Jeopardy as friends and allies share a safe space to tell their stories and get to know one another. This event is intended to celebrate Coming Out Day and build community among young folks. All are welcome between the ages of 8 and 18, and of course we can fudge that a bit. And here is the poster for this event. So it's Sunday at 1 p.m. Of course, it's virtual. It's going to be on Zoom. And if you go to the Eventbrite that's on this poster and that Chris is going to put up in the links, you can get your tickets when you need. And please welcome with me the wonderful Samantha. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am delightful. I'm always so honest. You bring me such joy and light because you represent what the future can bring and how hopeful we see what we can do when we look out for each other.
Thank you. That means so much.
So tell me, Sam, how did you come up with the idea for this? And I want to tell everybody, and I want you to share really because it's your story, but you've been working on this since before the pandemic. We had the honor of working together at the center. You came in and we've been working toward this for a very long time, and you never gave up. So tell us about that journey, please.
So I've been a part of a Girl Scout troop in the Lawrence Ewing Trenton Service Unit for almost 10 years. And in Girl Scouts, girls who are in middle school and early high school can work on a Silver Award, which is when they address a need or a concern in their community, and then they identify a way to kind of remedy that, or just like to create a project that helps others. And I grew up in an LGBTQ family, and I identify as queer myself. And I felt really strongly that, like, when I went to school, my school did have a GSA, but the school that I went to for all of my elementary and some of my middle school, they didn't have a GSA, and there wasn't really a way to build community among young folks and to meet other LGBTQ people like myself. So my friend and I, we originally had planned this event to be in March, in person at a local library, and due to the pandemic, it did get canceled. So a few months ago, I reached out to Robert again, and I was like, hey, can we try to figure out a way to make this virtual, to make this happen? Like, I still really want to do this. And he was really nice, and we figured out a way to make it virtual. So we have an Eventbrite, and it's linked to the Facebook event on the Bay of Reston's Facebook page. And the Eventbrite just has more information and the Zoom info and code. And we just, I don't know. I really hope to see people there and just to have a good time getting to know one another and celebrate Coming Out Day.
I'm sure you will have loads of folks there. This is so important. I taught for 23 years in a public school and middle school, so I know exactly this audience and this group and this age needs so much. And I want to say to you how important what you're doing is. And I also want to say to you and to everybody that comes to this event, know this, please, that however many people show up to this event, whether you have a dozen or 20 or 30 or 40 or more, it's going to be meaningful to everybody that attends. But what I know is an absolute fact. It's going to be even more meaningful to those that know it occurred, that know you held this, and you're going to give hope and strength and solace to so many other people exponentially, and especially now with it being virtual and with it being out, so many people are going to have recognition and feel seen because of what you're doing.
I really hope so. Yeah, I really hope that it's just a safe space where youth can just share their stories and just feel really comfortable and like they can express themselves and be who they truly are, because that's really important.
Well, I am so thrilled and honored that you allowed us to be of some small service in helping to organize. But I want to tell everybody, and this is the absolute truth, Sam is incredible. Every time we have a meeting, she is so much more prepared than I am. And you are such an inspiration to me. When I leave the meeting, I'm like, I have to get my shit together. I feel like I'm always like, I'm one step behind you. And I'm so excited that you're finally going to have this event. And it's going to be really special. And Chris is saying in the comment section, you're doing amazing work, Samantha. Thank you for your passion.
Thank you so much.
Saying, yay, Girl Scouts. So there's a lot of folks who are supporting you. And in the next couple of days, let me say this to everybody out there. If you are someone between the ages of like 8 and 18, please go to this, because you're going to have a really good time. You're going to allow yourself to see and be seen. And if you have kids who are anywhere on the LGBTQI spectrum, please let them know and invite them and encourage them to go. If you know of anybody who has kids, obviously spread the word, because this is a very important moment. And I want to make sure as many people as possible can be with you on Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
So this is the poster again. It is Sunday the 11th, which is Coming Out Day, 1 p.m. You can go. The LGBTQ Acceptance Project is on Instagram. As of course, you can find it on our Facebook page. We're only hosting the platform for the event. Again, Sam is doing everything because it's your event, and I'm just standing back and letting the whirlwind do her thing. So again, I encourage everybody to please encourage other people, young folks across the nation, which is the other wonderful thing about this, right, is before it was going to be a great event and we're going to hold it in the Lawrence Library, right? And that was great. And we had a lot of folks excited, but now you have the entire world open to you. Let's make sure we get, I want to get someone from California. I want to get someone from Ohio. I want to get someone from Texas. I want to get someone from Zimbabwe. There's no limit to who we can have come out to this event, both literally and figuratively, right? So, so proud of you and so honored to be an ally of yours.
Thank you so much for all of this. I really couldn't have done it without you. I'm really excited for Sunday. Once again, our Instagram is LGBTQ Acceptance Project. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me there. I'll get back as soon as I can.
And again, you can contact me and I'll put you directly in touch as well in case you're not on Instagram or you are not as technically proficient. We will make sure that you get connected. And also I want to thank you because you also shared your coming out story, which we will be really thrilled to share with people tomorrow. So tomorrow on our coming out story sharing 2 Electric Boogaloo, tomorrow night as we share all these incredible stories, Samantha's will be one of them. So you want to tune in for that as well. All right. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share before I let you go for the evening? Because I'm sure you have lots of homework and and young person stuff to do.
Thank you so much. It was so great to be here.
All right. Best to your family. Best to you. And I'll see you Sunday because I want to come by as you asked me to be present, just to give a charge and welcome everybody. And I am. Again, I think I've overused this terminology tonight, but it's the truth. I'm honored and thrilled that you'll allow me to be, a small part of the event on Sunday as well. So best to you, and you're really an inspirational person, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
All right, be well, Samantha. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's Samantha, Girl Scout extraordinaire, inspirational young person extraordinaire. And if you know anybody, LGBTQI youth between the ages of 8 to 19, anywhere in there, there's no ID checked. So anybody that wants to come is welcome. I think it's going to be a really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful event. So please do encourage folks to show up. And again, this is just a perfect night that we get to share these stories from, noted author Samantha Allen to wonderful Girl Scout Samantha herself. And now what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of flavor of tomorrow night's show, which all week, in fact, for a while before that, we've been collecting stories of our community, coming out stories, and they run the gamut from heartbreaking to heartwarming, funny, weird, sad, strong. They are truth is what they are. And what I'd like to do is show you 2 of the stories tonight to give you a taste of all the magic that we're going to share together tomorrow night. And I wanted to share these 2. Ellen and Kerstin are members of our community who work with us at the center. And I think they speak for themselves, obviously. So without further ado, please welcome to the virtual stage these 2 beautiful people and their beautiful stories.
Hi, everyone. When I was asked to share my coming out story, I thought, oh, really? Is that still a thing? But of course it is still a thing. It is still not the norm to be queer. And that's why I think queer people have to explain themselves all over again. But I think what I'm supposed to share is when I first came out. So that's not too long ago because I was always into men. And after I split with the father of my daughter, I kind of had some soul searching, and I wanted to change the way I was looking for a relationship. I don't know how to explain that, but I kind of accepted myself the way I am. So being adopted, having 2 white parents, growing up in a very white society, I was always looking for people who are like me, and I ended up meeting people from a different continent, from Africa, which didn't give me the peace that I actually needed. So I met a woman, and we got together, and for me it wasn't feeling any strange at all. And when I told my friends, they were not even surprised because they thought, yeah, that's Ellen. She's just very tolerant. She's open. She loves humans. And, I really like that because I felt safe with my friends. And, when I came out to my parents, that's a different story. So when I told my mother, hey mom, I'm in a new relationship, confession time. She said, oh no, not again an African man. And I said, no, it's a woman. And my mother said something like, oh God, please no. And a few weeks later, I told my father. He was angry that I told my mom first and asked my mom not to tell him, blah, blah, blah. And, well, he has been married to my mother over 50 years, and he grew up very conservative, religious, and gay people are a sin. That's nothing natural to him, and he just didn't understand. And he thought this is just a phase, and this is going to change soon again. And he just ignored her when we visited, and we had a lot of contact. I'm calling my parents every day. And he just ignored her as if she was air. He didn't talk to her. And I think it took 1.5 years that he was able to talk to her and look her in the eye. But that was, I think, just shortly after I told my parents, hey, I asked Kerstin if she wants to marry me, and she said yes. And I showed my parents the ring on her finger, and my parents' reaction was nothing. They didn't say anything, not a word, nothing. And they just continued talking to my daughter and behaved like nothing happened. So I left. And I was hurt. I was hurt again because the past 1.5 years have been very painful because I couldn't share about my life. And it seems there was no interest. But somehow, of course, I knew that it would just take time. I mean, my father, he's over 70, and suddenly his world is upside down because he has to, see that his daughter is not the one that he thought she is, although I haven't really changed. So I knew that it would just take time. And the day that we got married, I think my father kind of could relax. And after also meeting my wife's parents, he was seeing that they were completely fine with it, having a lesbian daughter. And seeing all my friends, all her friends, all these colleagues from work, so many people coming and traveling so far to be there at our wedding day. I think my father was very impressed by that so many people are just fine with that and is so happy for us. And from that day, I think he never looked back, and he hugged my wife dearly, and I think that was it. And now everything's just fine. So yeah, I still have to kind of come out every day. I don't tell people that I'm actually pansexual because I don't care about the gender. I love people, and I cannot even imagine to say I only love men or women or non-binary people. That doesn't really matter for me. Maybe also because I was focused the whole life long on meeting someone and having babies. And now that I kind of check this box, I feel like I should just do whatever feels good and not what society thinks of me. I don't know. I just wish for everyone out there to be able to come out when you feel it's the time. and that you find the support that you need. And for everyone out there who doesn't identify as being queer, you might just not know it yet, please support the LGBTQ community and support whoever person is coming out to you, and show your love and empathy and respect. It's not easy to do this step, and we need much more empathy. That's what I want to say. Thank you so much for listening. Bye. Hi, Kerstin. Tell us, when was the first time you found out that you are lesbian?
The first time I found that out, or I had my first hints in my head, was when I was approximately 15 years old. So I had this thought in my mind, what would happen if I would actually like women and not men? But I didn't really pursue that a lot further in my head. And in addition, this was in the mid 1990s. So it was time before internet and mobile phones and all these things. So there was not really something where I could, find out more about what it means to be a lesbian. And things then changed a little bit when I was about 17 years old, a few years later, and I really fell in love with a girl from my class. And then things started to evolve in myself, and I really felt that, okay, probably I can admit I fell in love with a woman, and the guy is never really interested in me.
And was that also the time that you came out?
When I was 17, 18, that was the time that I then came out to someone else. One of the first persons I talked about this was my brother, and his first reaction was a little bit weird for me in the beginning. He laughed and he made jokes about it, so that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. But I just realized it took him a couple days of time to understand that and to get used to that idea that his sister is not the normal heterosexual girl that he thought he knew. And since then, he has been one of my biggest allies and really always supported me. And one other big event that was very important for me was when then also at the same time I went to the first gay pride for myself. So that was in 1998 in Cologne in Germany. And for the first time I felt like, oh my God, there's so many other people who are like me, and I could see them. And I remember the time when I got out of the train and suddenly I saw these couples, these same-sex couples, and I felt like, okay, there is a world beyond of what I knew, and I really felt a part of this group. And that was a very, very defining and important moment for me to know I'm not alone. And even though I had not experienced any backlash, any bad feedback from anyone, it was a much different thing to understand and to see that actually you're not the only one in the world, and there's a lot of other people.
And when did you come out to your parents?
To my parents, that was a little bit later, probably when I was 21 years old. I somehow really had a fear to come out to my parents, even though I suspected that they should be okay and should be pretty liberal and support me as well. But still, it was a big hurdle that for about, I would say 3 or 4 years, I wasn't able to overcome. And it happened when my very first relationship actually broke up. And I was devastated, and I just didn't know what to do. And out of an impulse, I took the telephone and I dialed my parents' number. And I was crying on the phone, and I just told them, oh, my girlfriend broke up. And the first thing that my dad told me was, do you want me to pick you up? And that was like, probably the best reaction he could make. It was just showing me, not commenting on anything, not showing surprise, but just showing, okay, we love you and we're there for you. And that was, again, another very important moment for me to know that my parents and then my whole family is standing behind me. And that has helped me, all the time.
And do you remember how your friends reacted?
I I think I was very lucky. All of my friends reacted pretty well. There was no one who kind of quit a friendship or something. They really supported me. Many of them were curious, so I was their go-to queer person to answer many typical questions. But I was always happy to be able to do that and to help educate them and to help to show them what it means to be an LGBTQI person in today's world.
And if you think about your colleagues at work, do you have the feeling that you have to come out to them, towards them, or what is it like?
I still have the feeling now, even after over 25 years of being out in my life, I still have the impression, or I still have that feeling every time I meet someone new, it's like a little hurdle to talk about my private life. So I still say I'm coming out every day, but of course it's a very different thing than when I was 17 years old. And given all the reactions that I got and received, all the positive reactions actually helped me. And it's not a big thing anymore, but I do need to come out every day to somebody who's new in my life. But I see that I have that self-confidence in me right now that it's getting a lot easier these days.
What would you tell your younger self?
Just do it. Don't be afraid of backlash, because there will always be persons somewhere in that life that will be able to support you. You're not alone. Even if for me at that time in the 90s, it really felt, in the beginning, it felt like I was alone. But I learned very quickly that I'm not. And the support from gay people, from straight people have always helped me to move on in my life, and also to be an ally to other people and support other people. So just know nobody is alone out there. There's always people who support you.
That's so nice. Thank you so much, Kerstin.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
So that's just two stories, and thank you, Ellen and Kerstin, for sharing your incredibly beautiful story. And individually, you both are so strong and so brave, and as a couple, you're both so beautiful. And we thank you so much for sharing those videos, sharing those stories, and for being members of our community. And I think that was a beautiful way to start. And tomorrow night, please join us for some more really just incredible stories. And we're so excited. We have past guests of the Power Hour, which we're pretty excited about. And we have members of our Bi Wrestling Center for Social Justice community who also shared their stories, which we're equally, if not more, so excited about. So really just an honor, honestly, to share these stories, and that people trust us to tell these stories. It is really important that in our communities that we do hear each other and see each other and recognize each other. And I do want to end the evening with sharing with you what we have coming up for the Power Hour over the next month and more. We're pretty excited about the guests we have coming up, so I wanted to share that with you as well at the end of the evening. We have Monique Morris coming to you, who is the organizer and founder of Black Girl Freedom Fund. We have Pete Souza here at the White House because he was the official White House photographer under Barack Obama. And he has an incredible movie coming out called The Way I See It. And it's going to be shown on MSNBC next week. And we're going to have him on the show to talk about that and share some of his favorite photos and give us some really kind of backstory to those photos. So I'm pretty excited about that. Malcolm Kenyatta, who is the first openly gay Black legislator in Pennsylvania, will be with us. You probably saw him on Rachel Maddow a few weeks ago. And also he did the DNC keynote a few months back. Jonathan Ieg is going to be with us, the author of the definitive book on Muhammad Ali. Andrew Aiden is going to be with us, who is an advisor to the Honorable John Lewis, who wrote March, the great trilogy of his life. Franklin Leonard's going to be with us, who is the creator of The Blacklist. Ryan North did this incredible graphic novel adaptation of Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five. Disclosure, if you haven't watched this yet, please do. This is an incredible documentary about the transgender experience in pop culture. And we're going to have an incredible panel discussion that's going to be moderated by one of our board members, the fabulous Erin Worrell is going to be with us for that. Katha Pollitt is going to be with us, who is an incredible journalist at The Nation. I'm sure you've read a lot of her work, and also the author of this book, Pro: Reclaiming Abortion Rights, which right now is obviously incredibly timely. And here is one of only a handful of two-time Pulitzer Prize winners, and be with us, TJ Stiles. So those are some of the folks we're going to see. Also, the author of this book, Heath Lee. This is The League of Wives. This is the untold story of the women who took on the U.S. government during the Vietnam War and brought their POW husbands home. It's a pretty inspirational, incredible story, and also just optioned into a movie by Reese Witherspoon. And finally, looking all the way up to election eve, the night before election day, no better guest, hyperbole aside, no better guest than this incredible person right here, Noah Changa, who is an electoral justice reporter with Our Prism, and she will guide us through that difficult evening before it will be a difficult day, so we can have as much information, as much empowerment, as much elucidation, as much community as possible. And I'm really incredibly excited to welcome her back to our virtual stage, and especially on that pivotal evening before the election. So that's just some highlights we have coming up. But of course, most importantly, please join us tomorrow for the second night of our Coming Out Story Sharing 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's going to be an incredible evening, and you'll see a lot less of me because I'm just going to let the videos run so you see everybody's stories without any shenanigans from this goofball. So as always, thank you for joining us tonight. A wonderful evening, a wonderful power hour, so much inspiration to be shared. Thank you for being with us. It is so meaningful and such an honor to be able to be here with you. So until tomorrow night, take care of each other, take care of your families, chosen or otherwise, and most importantly, take care of yourselves. Much love and respect to all y'all, and we'll see you very, very soon.